Have you ever noticed that subtle shift in a woman's gaze? It's often barely perceptible, a quiet turning inward. Before, perhaps, her eyes held a certain question, a gentle plea for connection, for resonance, for understanding. They searched, they reached, they offered themselves, hoping to be met. But then, one day, something settles. Her gaze becomes still. Not cold, no, never cold, but complete. It emanates from a place of wholeness, not of seeking completion from another, but of inviting resonance with another. Desire, we often think, is the body calling out, but I propose something deeper. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. And when a woman reaches this point of internal understanding, her soul speaks with a new clarity, a new authority. Desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing, and her song now is fully her own, resonant and true. For a man, this shift can be both perplexing and deeply illuminating. We are often conditioned to respond to signals, to engage with the overtures of connection. When the outward struggle ceases, when the searching gaze becomes still, it can feel like a withdrawal. But if he learns to look with wonder, if he allows himself to perceive the depth of this inner arrival, he can witness a blossoming. A man doesn't lose power when he ages, he loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he stops seeking the deeper currents beneath the surface. To truly see her in this state is to witness a profound act of self-love, and perhaps to be invited into a deeper, less transactional form of intimacy. This quiet acceptance, this claiming of her inner world, it is not a closing off. It is an opening on her own terms. It invites a different kind of closeness, one built not on the constant negotiation of understanding, but on a shared reverence for the mystery of each other's being. It is an invitation to meet her, not where she is struggling to be seen, but where she simply is, whole, complete. This moment, this subtle shift, it reshapes the very nature of the current between two people. It asks for presence, for patience, for a willingness to simply be in the rich, complex space she now inhabits. It calls for an intimacy that transcends words, that speaks in the quiet language of shared breath, of unspoken knowing, of simply holding space for the other's profound, independent existence. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within her has never died. It's been waiting for her to awaken, and for you to perceive her in this new, luminous light. We speak of connection, don't we? Of intimacy. And yet how often do we truly listen to the silent language that flows between us? Or more profoundly, the silent language within us? There comes a point, a quiet turning. For many women, it arrives after countless attempts to bridge the chasm, to make visible what feels so clear, so vital within her own being. She speaks, she explains, she tries to clarify, again and again. She believes in those moments that she is fighting for words, for the right phrase, the perfect metaphor, to finally unlock the understanding in another's eyes. But beneath the surface of those words, something far deeper is at play. She is, in truth, fighting for flow. Imagine a river, clear, strong, moving with an inherent purpose. This is the energy within her. It seeks expression. It yearns to move, to connect, to nourish. When she tries to explain herself, to justify her feelings, to be seen in a world that often only sees reflections of its own expectations, she is trying to guide this river. She is attempting to carve a path through resistance. And sometimes The resistance is not overt, it is subtle.
It is in the averted gaze, the half-heard reply, the gentle dismissal. It is in the very air of not being truly met. Love. Feel. Breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. There is a certain stillness that descends upon a woman when she finally lays down her sword. Not a surrender, no, but a profound, deep breath after a long, unspoken battle. For so long, she has poured herself out, her words, her hopes, her silent pleas, all sent into the ether, seeking a mirror, an echo, a true reflection. And when that reflection doesn't appear, or when it distorts her truth, the energy, the very current of her being, begins to dissipate. It can feel like a slow leak, a constant drain. A quiet, knowing power. This inward journey, this recalibration, is not a retreat from the world, but a preparation for a deeper, more authentic engagement with it. It's an awakening to the sacred, undeniable truth of her own existence, her own beauty, her own profound capacity to create, to heal, to love. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so we arrive at a crucial crossroads, don't we? When the struggle to be understood has finally ceased, when the armor of expectation has grown too heavy to bear, what then? How do we invite that tender current back into our lives, that invisible thread between two hearts, when it feels so utterly severed? And that life, that sacred exchange, asks only for awareness, for presence, for reverence. It asks for trust. Love. Feel. Breathe.
The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so she lets go. That quiet surrender, it is not a defeat, you see. No, it is a profound liberation, a release that ripples gently through every cell of her being, touching forgotten corners, softening hardened edges. A letting down of the shield, not because the battle is lost, but because the fight itself was never the true path. It was a labyrinth of distraction, a weary detour from the deeper truth that whispers beneath the surface of all things. She is done fighting to be understood. And in that profound cessation, in that gentle, utterly liberating release of tension, something exquisitely new begins to stir. It is a subtle shift, almost imperceptible at first, like the very first blush of dawn after a long, silent, introspective night. Not an ending, no, never an ending, but a new dawn for the soul, for both souls intertwined in this intricate human experience. It is a gentle invitation, felt not through words, but whispered on the softest wind, resonating in the quietest chambers of the heart, to step onto a different kind of floor. A sacred space, a dance floor where the rhythm is not dictated by the harsh demands of expectation, nor the weary, familiar steps of obligation or performance, but by the very pulse of life itself, raw, honest, vibrant. This, my friend, is the dance of life, an ancient, sacred movement that flows, effortlessly, when permitted, between a man and a woman. It is not a struggle for dominance, no, nor a desperate, clinging quest for validation. It is not about proving worth or asserting control over another's heart. It is instead a harmonious unfolding, a communion so deep, so tender, so utterly intimate, where understanding ceases to be merely a word, or an argument to be won, or a concept to intellectualize and grasp with the busy mind. It becomes breath. It becomes the very air you share, the sacred space between breaths, the profound silence that holds all meaning, all unspoken truths. Imagine this for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish, and feel the quiet stillness that follows the cessation of all strenuous effort. The letting go of the desperate need to explain, to justify, to persuade, to convince. When a woman breathes deeply, truly deeply, from her very core, life breathes with her. Feel that profound resonance, that perfect synchronicity. And in that shared, unhurried rhythm, in that calm, centered flow, a man can find his own steady, grounded beat. It becomes a shared current, a silent, eloquent language spoken not with the often clumsy tools of words, but with the very essence of being. Every movement, every subtle shift of weight, every sustained glance that truly meets another, every tender, knowing touch, becomes imbued with a deep, unspoken, utterly profound understanding, a knowing that requires no translation, no explanation, only presence. This understanding is not intellectual, no. It is visceral. It resonates in the marrow of the bones, a quiet echo of belonging that transcends time and circumstance. It is the knowing that transcends the limitations of language, the kind that settles into the deepest chambers of the heart when all demands, all defenses, all pretense have finally fallen away, like autumn leaves. It is recognition, the universe remembering itself in the breathtaking intimacy of two souls.
In that profound recognition, there is no room for judgment, no space for fear, only wonder. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is the magnetic pull of two halves recognizing their inherent connection, their shared origin in the cosmic dance, yearning to experience wholeness through each other. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, not just the fleeting spark of physical desire, but life itself. Think of it. Not merely the biological urge for procreation, but the very essence of creation itself. The urge to build, to heal, to inspire, to nurture, to grow. It is a powerful, undeniable, sacred current. a river of vitality that yearns fiercely to flow freely, unimpeded by the stagnant waters of fear, by the sharp, bruising rocks of judgment, by the towering, impenetrable walls we've so carefully, so painstakingly built around our own raw tenderness, our own immense capacity for profound feeling. For too long, we as a society and as individuals have fragmented this immense energy. We have confined it to narrow definitions, to purely physical acts, often shrouded in shame or secrecy, or relegated it to the realm of the forbidden, the taboo. But this energy, this sensual, creative, life-giving force, it is the very current of your existence. It is creative, driving artists, innovators, healers, visionaries. It is healing, mending wounds both seen and unseen, restoring balance, bringing solace. It is sacred, connecting us to the divine spark within all things, within each other, within ourselves. When this energy is blocked, when its natural, vibrant flow is stifled by fear or neglect, we don't merely lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose our sparkle, our innate zest for living, our inherent joy, our vibrant color, the very richness of our being. We lose our deep connection to the deeper, more profound rhythms of the world around us and the universe within. This sacred current, this potent, life-affirming force, waits. It waits patiently, persistently, profoundly for you. It waits to be recognized, to be honored in its magnificent fullness, to be given the freedom it inherently deserves, the space to expand and flourish. And the key to unlocking this boundless flow for both man and woman, for all of us, lies in a quiet yet utterly profound courage, the courage to stop fearing our own power, not the power of control or domination, no, but the power of our exquisite sensitivity, the power of our radical vulnerability, the power of our raw, authentic being, the power of feeling deeply, of loving fiercely, of creating boldly, of simply being. When we cease to fear this inherent strength, this immense capacity for connection and creation that resides patiently within us, life itself begins to flow again. It rushes in, not as a destructive torrent, but as a gentle, persistent current full of light and rich, undeniable meaning. It invigorates every cell, every thought, every dream, every aspiration, every quiet moment of reflection. It rekindles the fire in our belly, the warmth in our heart, the clarity in our mind, the wisdom in our bones. Desire is not merely the body calling, it is the soul singing. It's the soul reminding us of our boundless capacity for profound connection, for boundless inspiration, for transformative joy, for sacred union. It is the longing for wholeness, for reunion with our true essence. A man doesn't truly lose power when he ages, no. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when his gaze hardens with cynicism, when his heart closes to the profound mystery of existence.
And a woman doesn't lose her allure, her potent magnetic presence, when she releases the exhausting need to fight, to prove, to defend her worth. Quite the opposite. She embodies it. She becomes the very essence of grace, of grounded presence, of a wisdom that has been earned not through struggle, but through deep, compassionate surrender to the magnificent, ever-flowing current of life. True intimacy. Understand this deeply. Let it settle within you. It doesn't require struggle. It doesn't ask for constant negotiation, for endless explanation, for exhaustive analysis of every motive. It doesn't thrive on proving a point or winning an argument. No. True intimacy requires only presence. To be truly, fully, authentically, exquisitely there. And acceptance. Profound, unconditional, unwavering acceptance. Acceptance of oneself in all one's radiant complexity. Acceptance of the other in all their glorious, imperfect, ever-evolving humanity.
It is in this sacred space of presence and acceptance that the deepest understanding takes root. It blooms effortlessly, like a wildflower turning towards the sun, without force, without demand, simply by being allowed to be. It is simply known, a knowing that settles deep within, creating a profound peace that transcends circumstance, a quiet joy that needs no external validation, no applause, no external proof, a reconnection to the eternal wellspring of life within us all. This, then, is the invitation: to release the struggle, to embrace the dance, to allow this sacred current, this river of life to flow freely, guiding you both in harmony towards a richer, more vibrant, more meaningful existence. To remember with every breath, every heartbeat, every tender touch, that the current of life, the energy of connection, the sacred dance, it is always there. It has always been there, within you, between you, surrounding you, waiting, patiently waiting for you to simply open, to breathe, to feel, to remember who you truly are. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.